I have been with my boyfriend for over a year, and everything has been great except for one thing. Every single day, at least once, he will tell me that I stink and smell of BO. When we met, I showered every day, applied regular deodorant in the morning, brushed my teeth 3 times a day. Now I am so paranoid about smelling bad that I shower at least twice a day. I apply new industrial-strength deodorant every few hours. I have a reminder on my phone, perfume, and I brush my teeth anytime I eat or drink something that isn't water. I feel like I'm going crazy. I didn't think I smelled bad in the beginning, and I don't think I smell bad now, but I obviously smell bad to him, right? I'm that weirdo that keeps sneakily smelling their own armpits. I have been to the doctor, and he has said there is nothing medically wrong. It has honestly gotten to the point where I literally shove my armpit in friends' and family's faces, asking if I smell bad. They all say I don't smell like BO at all. One friend even said I smelled too clean, like a Lush store. I am getting so paranoid. He won't cuddle or anything when he says I smell. I really don't know what more I can do. Update. So unexpected edit. I waited for him to make a comment this morning, so I could talk to him. It was less than an hour after waking up that he said, "God, you stink." I had already showered and put on deodorant. I snapped and asked what exactly was he smelling because, at this point, I'm one of the cleanest people on the planet, and if I still smell bad to him, then we should just break up. He got all panicked and upset. I eventually got out of him that this is what his father always said to his mother. Apparently his father told him that it was a surefire technique to have a woman never leave you because she will feel too low to cheat, will love only you, and will always be clean. Needless to say, his father is wrong. He's packing his things and moving out of my house today. My husband calls me a dog murderer. Obvious trigger warning, dog death and mention of suicide. 7 years ago, I got a call from my husband at work saying he needed his headphones and asked me to come drop them off for him at work. I brought his dog along with me to say hi. I rolled down the window so our dog could smell outside. At a stoplight, he saw a family walking by and jumped out of the window, getting hit by multiple cars. I rushed him to the vet, but he passed away on site. It was extremely traumatizing for me, and I was diagnosed with PTSD. He only outwardly blamed me for his dog's death once after it happened. It's coming back up now, and it's nearly an everyday thing where he calls me a dog killer. It's not like he's processing it through therapy. He never has, so it's not like it's coming back up there. This is out the blue. He keeps talking to our current dog, saying things like, "Don't go in the car with Mom, she'll kill ya." He does stuff like this all the time, blaming me for losing his things, his mental health, financial situations. We know he needs therapy, but when he went for a year, he wouldn't talk to the doctor. I'm so tired of him breaking me down. But he's my husband. Is this a deal breaker? I feel like this is something you'd get a divorce over. But he's also told me that I'm the only thing keeping him alive. He'd likely commit if I left him. Should I leave him or try and work this out with him? This is a deeply troubling situation, and your feelings are valid. It's important to consider your own mental and emotional well-being as well. Seeking support from a therapist or counselor for yourself can provide clarity and guidance on how to navigate this complex relationship. My husband, 33 male, is upset with me, 32 female, for reading. My husband and I have been married for almost 10 years. The other day my husband went out to start my car, and my phone was connected to my car Bluetooth, and an audiobook I had been listening to started to play. He didn't say anything in the moment, but later I was at work and he started texting me about me reading, questioning why I was reading and why I hadn't told him I was reading it. He started to question whether I bought the books or not. I didn't. Because we're doing a no-spend month, so he has our credit cards held aside right now. At first I thought he was just curious, but then he kept going and asking what else I was reading about and how long I have been doing this. When I got home I was going to let it go, but he brought up my books again, asking if my new therapist had suggested I start reading. He actually seemed upset and agitated and insinuated that I was hiding this from him. My therapist didn't specifically suggest reading, but had given advice to try and find a hobby or two that could be just for me, since I'm a busy mom. I thought it was standard to read a book without it needing to be a huge deal. How could I explain this to him, so I can keep my hobbies without feeling bad? ETA. Edited to add, a few people have asked what book I was reading. It's a memoir by a chef, Ina Garten, about her life. Nothing smutty or weird about it, so I think it was less the actual book and more that I hadn't talked to him about it. Also, a few people have asked about the credit cards. That isn't always the case. We are trying to save money after the holidays by doing a no/low spend thing for a few months. So he put the cards away unless I need it. I can have it for things like gas and groceries. It's just miscellaneous spending that we're trying to not do. Edit number 2. I see a lot of comments talking about our money and credit cards. I was really asking more about the books as it seemed odd to me, but I see what people mean about the money stuff too. We've always been that way where he oversees more of the money stuff, even before he stopped working to become a stay-at-home dad, so it's just continued that way. I'll have to talk to him about that too, I guess, to just understand better. My boyfriend threatened to break up over Miss Dior, and now won't talk to me because I laughed. Hi everybody, my post got removed because I asked a yes/no question. But I really wanted to thank everybody for the sweet replies, good advice, and tough love, as I hadn't been able to thank you yet. I really appreciate you guys. The post I'm referring to is the following. My boyfriend, 24 male, and me, 22 female, have been together for almost 2 years now. Aside from some small bumps in the road, we have been in a very good place throughout the whole relationship. However, last night things escalated over, in my opinion, something super dumb. But he thinks differently of that, and now stopped talking to me. It started when we were in bed, he was gaming, and I was on my laptop looking to order a new perfume. Since I stopped my job to focus on studying, I don't have as much income, so I decided to not get the expensive perfume I usually go for, Miss Dior. I thought it'd be better to find a body spray with a resembling scent. As he was looking over my shoulder, he asked me what I was doing, so I explained. He then reacted saying I wore Miss Dior in our first period of dating, and it is my smell, and how it was one of the things that attracted him to me. I must admit this made me a bit annoyed, because I'd rather get that perfume too. But it's just not responsible to do so right now. He started rambling on how I care more about saving money than I care about him. I said that's not true, but then he kept saying his hypersensitivity issues can't deal with adjusting to a new scent. I said I'd find a scent similar to my old one, but he wasn't content. At this point he said he'd have to break up with me if I would go for another scent. I found this hilarious and thought he surely must be joking, so I laughed, which made him go silent. I let him be, because I was really annoyed, and we went to sleep. Now he left early morning and doesn't respond to my texts or calls. I have no idea what to do, and I'm starting to doubt how I handled the situation. Any advice? Update. Wow, first of all, thanks everyone who gave me advice and some tough love. I did not expect so many of you to help me, and definitely teared up at some of your replies. After I posted this, I was a bit of a mess, but after hours of ignoring me, he texted me late in the evening and asked me to meet up, because he does not want us to be in a bad place. I really wanted to talk to him, at least to clear things up, so I went to his place. When I got there, he acted a bit disappointed still, but he did say he didn't want us to fight. I felt the same, but also took your advice to heart. The idea of letting him buy a bottle. However, for some context, I do think he might be on the spectrum. No diagnose, but his dad is too, and it'd make sense. So I did want to show him I care and take his hypersensitivity seriously. Therefore, I decided to suggest we pay half/half for a new Miss Dior, and then until that one would be finished, I'll make sure to do research to find a really good dupe. He was not as convinced, told me it wasn't my birthday anytime soon. I explained that I understood, but we'd have to both compromise. Well, to quote his literal words, if you're such a feminist, you should be so financially too. This got me fuming. I had no words, so this time I left. As per your advice in the replies, I did some thinking about the rest of our relationship. I realized other things in our relationship that at the time didn't sit quite right with me, were situations of him being controlling and self-concerned, situations I always considered as little things he'd mean differently or would learn from. I was wrong. You were right. I asked him to meet up today and I dumped his ass. I feel terrible right now, but I know I'm better off. So, anyone advice for a cheap, nice body spray? I just found out I'm pregnant, and my boyfriend is threatening suicide. Where do we go from here? My boyfriend is 20 and I just turned 22. When we first got together, I told him I couldn't get pregnant, which I genuinely believed due to my endometriosis and 1 year of failed attempts, which I realize was incredibly stupid and irresponsible of me. I recently found out I'm a few weeks pregnant, and needless to say, we're on very different pages. He believes I manipulated him into getting me pregnant, and that it was my plan all along, which I completely understand, but isn't the case whatsoever. I know that this is my own doing, and that I'm responsible for the consequences going forward, but I'm still reluctant to make a decision until I've had some time to consider my options. He's adamant that I have an abortion, and when I hypothetically asked him what he would do if I chose to raise the baby, he told me he would kill himself. Obviously, that's a huge burden to carry, but I can't help but feel as though I'm being manipulated into doing something I don't want to do. I know how difficult it will be, whether I have his support or not, but I couldn't fathom how much more difficult it would be without his emotional or physical support. I already feel so alone in this, and his distant behavior and recent remarks have only made the situation worse. Where do we go from here? Is compromising even possible when our feelings are so different? Too long to read. My boyfriend wants me to have an abortion and has threatened to commit suicide if I go through with the pregnancy. I feel like I'm being manipulated into doing something I may not want, and I don't know what to do. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this video, please like, comment, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on new videos.